with us tonight. Thanks so much for being here. And I know you will probably be seeing some new faces as we have been week after week. So we always love to hear a little bit about you. And I always start the chat, whether you're new here or one of our regulars, asking you guys to tell me a little bit about you. So please let us know where you're from, how old your kids are, and how long you've been following NJ Mom. And if you're excited about tonight's topic, which I know I am. So it's going to be a good one. Super excited to share our guest in just a few minutes. Before I jump into the chat, please let us know in the comments if you're just coming on in. Hi. Where you're from, how old your kids are, and how long you've been following NJ Mom. So welcome if you're new. For those of you who don't know me, if you are new here, my name is Marissa. I have 3 little ones at home, 4.5, almost 3, probably 3, and a 1-year-old. And I am a TV host, and I host our NJ Mom TV videos we do every week here on Facebook, and we have a YouTube channel as well, so check that out if you haven't. And yeah, so we're super excited to have you here if you're joining us for the first time, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Athena, I'm so happy you're excited for this topic. Wait until you see some of the tricks our guest Renee has in store for you guys to make mealtime a little easier and snack time. I got a sneak peek at some of her ideas, and she always brings fantastic ideas, and these are going to be great. So I'm super excited for it. I have like my notes here I'm jotting down, so it's going to be a good one. So get ready with some questions and some things to share. Before we get to that, we always do a couple things at the start of our chat. I always like to give a special shout out to all of our frontline workers, especially our healthcare workers. We do this every week. Our team at NJ Mom feels it's very important to just recognize all of our frontline workers who have been working throughout the pandemic in incredible circumstances. So we always just like to give a moment of thanks and appreciation. And I know we have a lot of moms who are frontline workers who join us week after week for the live chat. So here, your moment of thanks. We appreciate you, and we thank you for all that you have done and continue to do throughout everything happening. Speaking of that, this is a great event that we've been telling you about from RWJ Barnabas Health. They are an NJ Mom partner, and we always love to highlight some of the amazing things that they do throughout the hospital system and also the community. And this is a great one. It's the Run to Honor Healthcare Heroes with the New Jersey Devils, happening virtually, and such an important cause. 100% of the proceeds go to RWJ Barnabas Health Emergency Response Fund, which helps protect patients and healthcare members from COVID-19 and other emergencies. And we also have a special code if you do want to participate in this and show your support with this great event. You can get 25% off your registration just by using the code NJMOM. So if you want to show your support, great way to do it. And something fun to do with the kids, the family as well. Also, something really cool I wanted to let you guys know about. We are giving away a 2-night mountain getaway for a family of 4 at Woodlock Resorts, and that's happening on Instagram this week. Woodlock is amazing. If you haven't been there, it's fantastic, and it's a short drive away, so it's a really nice getaway because you feel like you're away, but it's in driving distance of where we are and super family friendly. Tons of great things for kids. It's award-winning as well. They have a championship golf course there, a luxury spa. I mean, you name it, they have it. Your package includes 2 nights, 6 meals, immaculate accommodations, kid-friendly activities, like I mentioned, including their fun fall stuff, which I've been seeing a lot of on Instagram. They also have nightly entertainment and all kinds of resort amenities that you can use as well. So if you don't follow us on Instagram, if you're a new follower just joining us here tonight, we are at NJMom on Instagram. So this is a good giveaway. I know people are going to be interested in this. We're dropping the link to our Instagram in the comments also. So definitely enter that if you haven't already. We would love for you to follow us too while you're there. So that is up there for you. Also, Woodlock is offering a code for 30% off fall midweek stays, and kids under 6 are free. So that's a great savings if you have some time during the week to get away. Fall 30 is the code to redeem on their website. So that is a great one. I know I said that we were dropping the Instagram in the comments, but wanted to let you know anything I'm mentioning right now, any of the articles up on the site, anything we're talking about, we're going to put the link there for you in the chat comments. Check that out. While I am going through some other articles on the site, I want to take a minute and see who is here. Hi, Jessica. How are you? Hey, Sandy. Good to see you. Hey, Yvette. Super excited. Glad to hear. I hope you entered the giveaway. I think that was in response to the woodlock, but super excited you're here as well. Awesome. All right, so a couple other new articles up on the site. Every week, if you are a new follower, we do a great series that is called NJ Mompreneur of the Week. These articles go up on Monday, and we feature just such amazing women this week. The article is very touching. Kim Ramel with Forget Me Not. She does hand-painted and hand-restored furniture. But I got choked up reading the article. Very, very inspiring woman. Went through the loss of her husband recently. She is a mom and a grandma. Her creations are beautiful, and she talks all about her business. So if you're looking for a little inspiration, great place to start this week. That article is up on njmom.com. And then I know, so many questions about Halloween this year. So we have an article up right now that is Celebrate Halloween in New Jersey with these 9 fun activities. So these are places you can get in the socially distant and masked Halloween spirit with the whole family. And some really good options there. The Skyland Stadium Jack-O-Lantern experience. I don't know if you've seen any pictures of that. Definitely go check this out because it's amazing to look at. Just so cool how they've done it. Six Flags Hallowfest and Boo at the Zoo at the Bronx Zoo, as well as Adams Fest in Westfield, which I know they always do a fantastic job. So some great options to kind of get your Halloween on, over the next few weeks leading up to it. And then we also have 9 kid-friendly things to do this week and some really good options there for fall activities. You can get close to Barnyard Favorites at the Allaire Petting Zoo in Wall. There are prehistoric dinos coming to life at Jurassic Quest drive-thru. That's happening in East Rutherford. That's always super popular, the Jurassic events. And you can take a ride on the Great Pumpkin Train in Phillipsburg, which is another one that I've seen pictures of and I have yet to go. It's definitely on my fall bucket list for New Jersey. Super cool. So we're dropping that in the comments for you also. If any of those sounded fun as you make your weekend plans, it's getting to that point where we can start to think about the weekend, I guess, even though it's only Tuesday. Tomorrow we'll be over the hump. So love for you to check that out on njmom.com. And we also do something weekly here on Facebook that is a favorite. We choose Facebook cover photos of the week. And all you have to do is actually comment a picture of your child or your kids, your NJ Mom adventures, you and your kids, on our cover photo post, and we put that up. We then pick 5 new ones each week, and maybe we'll pick yours this week. So drop a comment on that post when you see it. I always love seeing all of your pictures that you share with NJ Mom, and you can do that anytime, either here on Facebook or on Instagram using hashtag NJ Mom. We always love to see them. So thank you for tagging us in those all over social media. So we have a very special guest tonight, and I know I'm seeing several of you saying how excited you are for this. So wanted to just preface this by saying, if you're not familiar with Bambino Chef, Renee is the owner and a mom, and she's awesome. We've featured her as an NJ Mompreneur a while back. She has some fantastic ideas, and this, I have to say personally, I'm so excited for this topic because I love to cook. If you don't know me, all of us have been cooking a lot more these days. So we thought it would be fun to have her on to kind of give you guys some ideas and just kind of talk about things together that are working, some tips, some tricks, some struggles, all of that. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Renee in and give her a chance to tell you guys a little bit about her. So, hello. Can you hear us, Renee? Let me just make sure we have her. Yes, you can hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, there we go. All right. Sorry, you froze there for a minute. Oh, I already have Jessica saying how amazing you are. So I think maybe some people watching here, already know all of the things that you're about to share are going to be like life changers. But for those mamas who might not know you or know about Bambino Chef, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about what you guys do in Jersey City?
Thank you so much. First of all, so excited to be here to chat about moms and, of course, see you. So I own Bambino Chef. It's a cooking school for children here in Jersey City, and we concentrate on healthy cooking. During parties, it's different. We bake lots of cupcakes and brownies. We do birthday parties, cooking classes, camps, after school programs, and field trips. So currently, because of what's going on, we are offering virtual cooking classes, and we are offering private groups as well.
Awesome. And you're a mom yourself, so and you and I have talked about this, it's sometimes we have these grand ideas of how meal or snack time is going to go, and kids can kind of put a wrench in things, and especially right now with a lot of the different ways, our schooling looks, it's been a challenging time. What have you experienced with your own kids in terms of eating and cooking, over these past few months?
Right, so I am a mom, and we have three beautiful children. Well, all children are beautiful. It has been challenging. I'm not going to lie. It has been difficult. And I love to cook. It's my favorite thing to do. But even with that, I'm going to be the first one to say it hasn't been easy because we are tackling so much. And, there's school, virtual school, hybrid, in person, then there's work, or if you stay at home mom, which is even more work, I feel like, you're doing laundry, cleaning. So my thing from all of this has been trying to keep everything simple. My motto has been, just do your best. We're doing our best and we're surviving, trying to keep it as healthy as possible under circumstances. And I certainly don't want to be tone deaf to current situation. There are a lot of families that are struggling and cannot afford food. So that is something, bothers me a lot, all of us. So that's it. It's just making sure that we are keeping meals simple and yet nutritious.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I love what you said. I think it's a time when so many people are struggling. So, there's things like being mindful of waste and things like that, that like all play into sort of the mom burden and responsibility of feeding our families, making things stretch and making things work and making it a little less stressful on ourselves. So I love all of that. I feel the same as you. I love to cook, and still, cooking 3 meals a day for basically 6 months straight to feed a family of 5 or whatever your family looks like, it gets to be a lot. So you have prepared some really great ideas for snacks and for meals. Where do you want to start? Because I love everything you showed us. So I'm going to let you pick with what your favorite little tip or trick is.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate this. So I try to keep it once again, very simple and kid friendly. So as a mom myself, I have a little system where I do snacks 2 times a day. And I heard last week you have the same schedule.
Yes, I shared that.
Yeah.
You know what? Purely because, again, it's something that makes it simple for me, and it's something I start early. I know it may not always be like that as my kids get older and can kind of help themselves, but now they're young enough, and so we have like specific set times just to make it easier.
Same here, and I love it. Routine helps, and different things work for different families, but it works for
Absolutely.
So my mid-morning snack, I usually prepare myself, or we will have kids prepare ahead of time, either in the evening or we'll do it on a weekend. I'm not going to lie. They're not always excited about it, but it is. They love most of the time because they get to pick the ingredients. And then my mid-afternoon snack, usually, because my kids are doing virtual school, so mid-afternoon snack, I will usually bring in the kids and have them help me prep them. So first I will start with what we do before for the morning snacks. So I was thinking, like, what are we going to do to keep it simple before school started, right? To make my life easy and my husband's life easy. So I am using ice cube trays. So I loved the fact that there were a lot of posts over the years how families have used muffin trays and filled them up with different snacks. Now, I felt like that. I love that idea. I just felt like, my son especially, he is 10. He wants to eat so much all day long all of a sudden. He's at that age. So I wanted to portion it a little bit. So I'm using this ice cube tray, and the kids fill it up with nuts, seeds, dry fruit, fresh fruit in the morning. And it comes in handy. And we'll prep a bunch of this to have them in different colors, and they'll be BPA-free containers. So this is a snack. The other one I really like is using this ice pop containers.
Oh, how cute.
And I fill them up. Thank you. I fill them up with a little bit of either it's a dressing, plain yogurt, or hummus. My kids love hummus. I do too. So, and then we'll just add some fruit, some vegetables in here. So it's a good, simple way. And you can do similar one with apples and peanut butter.
Yeah, that's a great. And one tip I'll throw in, because I love things like that, but sometimes with the kiddos and they're hungry and like trying to prep it, I like buying pre-cut vegetables for snacks specifically. I don't always do it when I'm cooking, but to have it for snacks or like for lunches is such a time saver and such a no-brainer. It's one of those things that I was always like, oh, well, it's fresher if it's not pre-cut and, it's less expensive. But like talking about like a mom savior type of thing, just having things already done like that takes then seconds to do, just to put it in that little container and dressing, and you're done. You're not chopping anything or anything like that.
100% agree with you. I mean, I feel also during this times, especially in general, I feel like we shouldn't put too much pressure on ourselves, mom guilt, getting everything right. But especially during these times, nobody's judging. We're doing what is right. And it might be a little bit more expensive. And again, everybody's planning according to their budget. But it is definitely a game changer. It's definitely a lifesaver.
And I will also add that if you maybe have a child who is a little less accustomed to vegetables, or maybe is still learning to like them, or, whatever, that makes it so much more exciting. I mean, what kid wouldn't want like the little popsicle tray? I'm totally using this idea tomorrow, by the way. I have all three at home tomorrow. I'm doing that because it's so cute.
Thank you so much. I'm going to be honest. It would have been a lot easier to use containers that actually detach from the base. I believe IKEA has them. I don't have those anymore, so I use this little one. So cute. Thank you so much. And then my other quick so. From there, we'll just go to some of the things that we do with kids. And I thought my kids are slightly older, so planning the whole game has changed for me a little bit from when they were toddlers or when they were in first grade or second grade. But we love putting out trail mix. Nothing is new about that. But I am looking for activities where we can get kids involved. My kids, they have so much schoolwork in front of the screen all the time. So I try to entertain them. For younger ones, I would suggest making a trail mix together. You can add popcorn. Well, younger ones, they do not like keeping popcorn and having not watching them, but nuts and seeds and dry fruit. We prep one big large bowl, and then you can use different measuring cups and color code it, different colors, and fill up this little paper treat bags. And you can also prep this ahead of time. You can do this at night or over the weekend and just label them, put their names, little notes. I don't know, something.
I love that.
Excited.
And I love something you just said. We're looking for breaks. A lot of moms are looking for breaks in the virtual learning days where it's a lot in front of the screen, and like when you have those breaks, you want something that's just sort of decompress a little bit. So something like that that's simple and it also serves a function of helping us moms out to sort of get the snacks ready. I mean, that's like a no-brainer. That's such a win-win.
Thank you. I'm going to share something that happened the other day. One of my children was asking me for a snack or piece of fruit, and I'm so used to, as a mom, I think, again, once again, this whole mom guilt, like we want to do everything ourselves. I said, you know what? I said, can you just grab a piece of apple and just rinse it and just slice it. And inside, I was just hurting. I felt so uncomfortable. I'm like, I should be doing this. He's already done his part for today. And then I said, no, I'm actually helping him to become more independent. And
Right.
it's one hand washes another's. It's teamwork.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, absolutely. And with the trail mix, that is such a fun way to really get any age involved. And I like that it's like totally customizable, which is like, I gravitate towards things like that because I always say I'm a much better cook than I am a baker because I am like the queen of improvisation. Like I switch out ingredients and recipes all the time. And like, I'm like, oh, I hope this works. And like most of the time it's fine, like, so that's a great one to just kind of use whatever you have on hand and kind of just be like, okay, we're making something new and here's your new trail mix for the week. And I'm sure the kids will get such a kick out of it.
Yes, they are, and I'm with you. They certainly stay entertained with this one. It's like you said, and I loved it how they are always on the screen, or even not screen, but I feel like there are not as many options to do things outside these days, right? For different reasons, whether you feel comfortable, uncomfortable doing things. So anything you can come up with where they are recharging their batteries, that is, or getting this fresh wave of activity can only be useful to them. There's no harm in that. So
Absolutely.
The next thing I have, chickpeas, roasted chickpeas. I know this has been around for a while, but going back to your point about customizing, I love the fact that you can really definitely customize them. You can add cumin, paprika, you can just do salt and pepper. You can add a little bit of chili powder in it. My daughter loves it. So even turmeric. So you can really go and play around and have your kids play with the spices and herbs you can add to the mix and roast them. And honestly, it's a crowd pleaser. It always works.
You can use canned chickpeas for that, like a pantry staple that, we can just kind of keep in there for a rainy day and kind of bring out. It's a great trick.
Yes. Thank you. How often we go back to pantry and we find items that have unfortunately expired because we forgot about it. So This would be a good time to go through your pantry and find what you have. That is fun to make with kids as well. Of course, handling the oven is for grown-ups only. My next thing is actually my son made this little board. So I purchased this little wood rounds in Target.
Oh, those are so cute. So cute for fall decorating, but what a double purpose to use it in the kitchen.
Yes, exactly. And I bought actually a bunch of this just because I wasn't sure how well they're going to go a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
They're very sturdy. They wash well. So what we do, this is a snack that they will make after school. So I give them their own board, and they will slice, they will chop some peppers, they'll add some tomatoes, there's cheese. So you can customize. He added a couple pickles today because he's a pickle lover.
Yeah.
And some pretzels. So this is a fun way also. And again, I don't want to sit here and lie and say my kids eat vegetables and fruit all the time and they're not picky eaters. No, they can be very picky, going to be very honest about it. But I just try to expose them to fresh fruit and vegetables whenever possible.
And I think it's important to mention this is not like an all or nothing thing. It's like to do that once in a while, even like it's just our goal tonight is just to give all of our mamas some ideas to kind of just take the pressure off a little bit when we are sitting there struggling and feeling like, oh, they're always having the same things. They want endless snacks, all those things that us moms go through. Renee, I want to pause real quick because we have some comments just coming in. I want to read. Hey, Nicole, good to see you tonight. We have Rika joining us, and she's saying she loves your cooking. So glad to have you here. And Nicole brought up a good point, too, with the trail mix. It's good skills, the measuring and the dumping. It's good for all ages. It's life skills for older kids. But even for, like, the toddler age, that's like, motor skills and sensory with the different textures and things like that. So, like, I didn't even think of that when we were talking about it, but that's a great point, Nicole. Yeah, and she loved she called it a kiddo charcuterie board, which I think is so cute with your little board.
Right.
Love it.
Thank you. Exactly. It is a charcuterie board minus all the meat that's traditional
Right.
on the board. But again, I refrain from using that word because again, traditionally it's a meat board, right?
Hmm.
Actually, collected. But in this case, you can actually make it even a little bit with sweeter. Just have lots of fruit in it, have bananas with peanut butter, chocolate spread, things like that. So absolutely. Thank you so much, Nicole. Really appreciate that.
I love it. I love it. Okay, what's your? I'm sorry to interrupt your flow. I know you have more things to get to and share.
Thank you so much. My other thing is again, I'm trying to keep it simple. So we use lots of our leftovers. I noticed one of the things I've been doing during this period of time, I've been actually cooking a little bit extra just to ensure I have leftovers for next day. So I will use them for lunch, or I will just transform them into a new dish. So my favorite things is one of my favorite things, and it's very seasonal right now. I feel like we all want to eat nice, warm food that warms our hearts and souls. So casseroles are really big in our household. I sound like Vicky from Real Housewives of Orange County. Casseroles. So casseroles are big because they are so simple to prep. You have your five main components. You have your starch. You have your vegetable, right? But my thing is what I've been doing. I've been using this little creme brulee dishes, and I've been using those to make a little personalized casseroles. I mean, not personalized. I take it back. Who has time to make it personalized? But just individual ones.
Right. Just our own dishes as opposed to the one big one, right?
And I just serve it like that. It honestly doesn't take any time. And I love with casseroles that you don't have to use lots of dishes. I don't love washing dishes so much. And once again,
Does. I mean, maybe I guess you could find it a little therapeutic, but right now, I think you'd be hard pressed to find a mom who, in this moment of history, says she loves doing dishes. It's been a lot of that.
I agree. And my other thing, I do muffin tin, a good old fashioned muffin tin. Again, trying not to waste any food. It's empty. I apologize, but I'm just going to go over this. In my attempt not to waste any food and trying to use our leftovers as much as I can, I find muffin tin is such a wonderful tool to have in your kitchen, just because you can put all your leftovers in one big bowl. Well, depending what you're making, but most of the time, crack a couple eggs in there, whisk it, mix it together, and bake them almost like those egg brunch muffins.
I love that idea. But with leftovers, I never thought about doing that.
My mom, actually, I stole the idea from my mom years ago. I noticed she does a lot of this kind of dishes, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, why you gravitate to this? And she said it's the easiest thing to use your leftovers. She'll use her pasta, depending on the sauce, but she'll use her pasta. If there's a little bit of mac and cheese left, she will add that and add some vegetables in there.
I love that. And you know what? That is such a I never thought of doing that before. I've thought of casseroles, but I think the idea of putting it in a muffin tin, number one, seems easier. And number two, it's so cute. But most importantly, it really will stretch the food too. Like what you said with the couple eggs. I mean, you add in a couple eggs, maybe top it with a little cheese, and maybe you don't have that many leftovers and you don't think you have enough for a full meal. But when you do it that way, that really makes it go a little further. And then that's like one less meal you have to worry about.
Exactly. And it is budget friendly, which I always try to be very mindful of that as well. So it is budget friendly. So my whole thing is try not to use too many dishes when you're very busy and stressed. So I try to come up with or utilize the recipes that will go with one large mixing bowl, and then we just add everything to bake.
I love that idea. I'm going to do that with leftovers this week, because I am finding now that our youngest, she's 1, so she's eating a lot more now. And now it's like, okay, well, now we're feeding 5 people, and it's not full portions for the kids, but the boys are pretty much full portions, and I'm not having as many leftovers, and I have not quite enough for another meal. But that is such a great way to repurpose and make it stretch a little bit. I love that. I just want to bring up Regina's comment here, because I love this phrase: cooking for our children is a metaphor for love. how true that is.
I love absolutely. It really it really truly brings joy. It's you creating something for your loved ones, and again, as stressful as it gets, and that's the thing. I don't want to put this word of it's time consuming or it's so difficult or
Right.
because cooking is magical. It is a blessing to be able to afford lots of ingredients that we're
Right.
using and cook or make time to cook. So it's a very special time. The idea is just to keep it simple. I spoke to a friend of mine who also has two children, and her kids are about my children's age. And she told me we were discussing this quick, easy meals. I gave her a couple of sites I recently found, and she said, "My goodness, I which sounds like about 70% of her time she spends in the kitchen. She's like, I'm making this chicken, and then I'm making this, and I'm making that salad, and I'm making this side dish, and which is wonderful. I once again love to cook, but then she says I'm exhausted, and it's really not enough time to do other things, clean the house, do laundry, or help children with their homework. So, and being able to spend time with them actually in the evenings, it's definitely luxury these days for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to mention one thing too about the leftovers, because I think that's such like an underutilized trick is like repurposing leftovers, because I think people hear that and they think either, oh, it's going to be like the same thing we had last night. My kids aren't going to want it. Or my husband isn't a huge fan of leftovers personally, or they think, oh, it's too complicated to think of some way to, reuse them. But like what you mentioned with the casserole or the muffin tin, super easy way. And I have one trick that I do always for lunch that is just like a go-to. I use our leftovers constantly to make quesadillas for lunch. To me, it's like all you need to have on hand is the tortillas, which I always have like wraps or tortillas, whatever kind you like, a little cheese, but like you could use a little leftover meat. Maybe you don't have enough for a full portion. It stretches out that way. So it's finding those little like tricks that you love that you keep coming back to, and it really just saves so much aggravation.
It does. I love the quesadillas. It sounds amazing. It's easy and it's simple,
and you can always throw vegetable in there. You can always throw, a little spinach or something like that. It's like, I make them all the time, at least once a week for lunch.
With leftovers. Well, I'm stealing that from you, so.
Well, thanks. Oh, I feel so honored because you have all the good ideas. I loved what you were saying about what you do with your waffle maker. And we've known each other for several years now. I've interviewed you before. You use your waffle maker a lot, and you've actually inspired me to use mine more. I sell them on QVC, and I've gotten some great ideas from you on ways to use the waffle maker that are sort of unexpected.
Thank you so much. I really do love my waffle maker, and it's not
I do too.
It makes my life so easy. So I use it obviously to make waffles, of course, but I also use it to make savory waffles. So
right.
What I will do so you can make, I made latkes the other day, or I make this cheddar and chive ones. So you can make savory waffles as well, which is wonderful. You can definitely have this for lunch. My other quick little trick is I use my sliced bread. So especially if I have a feeling that we're not going to finish that bread and it's going to go stale. So this is a really fun way to place your bread in a waffle maker. And it comes out looking really adorable. Well, this one got a little toastier than this one. I was talking to my son a little bit too much. But it changes your sandwich game a little bit. And you can use it again with peanut butter jelly, make cheese sandwich, not grilled cheese, just regular cheese sandwich, or your cold cuts of your preference. So there's so much you can make. It just makes it a little bit adorable, and it's the same amount of time that your toaster would take to toast the slices.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that is so genius, especially because I always get to like the tail end of the loaf of bread. And it's like, okay, we're not going to use, or like, the ends, like some people don't like the heel of the bread, but like, that's a perfect way. And then your kid's like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. I want to eat that. That's such a great tip.
Thank you. I'm actually the person in the family who eats the tail of the bread all the time. So I am with you. One of the things I remember a few years ago when we did a segment for Mom's Minute, I also mentioned using biscuit dough. If you just
Yes.
buy biscuit dough, you can, which is already sliced, so you can just slice it and place it in your waffle maker.
I do that as well. I do cinnamon rolls too, is another cute one. You can do like the store-bought Pillsbury or whatever brand you like, of the cinnamon rolls. But again, it's pre-sliced and then super easy. You're not turning on the oven. It takes just like a couple minutes to heat up. Um, I love that idea. And we just had Roby say, I love the waffle maker for grilled cheeses. I never thought of doing grilled cheeses in there, but I'll have to try that.
I know I have to try that too. I've never made grilled cheese. Well, tomorrow I'm using my waffle maker for sure.
Exactly. Oh, Nicole put cinnamon rolls in the waffle maker too. Yeah, that's like a favorite go-to. And speaking of leftovers, that's like another cute way to kind of repurpose leftovers. I know, like I've done it with stuffing, which is like a great one after Thanksgiving or like, but like even if you just have some as a side for dinner one night, it's a nice little way to kind of liven it up the next day.
Absolutely. I do. One of the things I like, I love that idea. One of the things I like to do, I make this sweet potato waffles and grate the potatoes and, well, sweet potatoes and just adding a little bit of flour, a little bit of butter, egg. I season it and I make them in my waffle maker, obviously measuring properly. I make them in a waffle maker and they come out really delicious and they look very yummy to start with. I think anything that's shaped like a waffle, sign me up, I'll eat it right away. I immediately trust my waffle maker's products.
That's awesome. I love it. We didn't talk about the little sandwiches you have there, and this is such a cute one, and I've seen you get so creative with those. Tell us about the ones you have there. You have a couple different ones, right?
Yes. So again, keeping it in effort to keep everything simple. This have been around. I'm sure our moms have seen them around as well. But I use sliced apples and I use a little bit sun butter. I sprinkle chia seeds, flax seeds, coconut flakes. And that's another thing. I definitely always, one of the things I always do, I always make sure I have my flax seeds and I have chia seeds on hand. They are my staples. They're staples in our household. And then make them with bananas as well. I make little banana PB and jelly ones. And again, you can, for not allergies, obviously we see those a lot. Sun butter will work beautifully. I have to tell you, spreading peanut butter on sliced banana is not that much fun. I just want to give you a heads up.
Just a heads up. It's so good though. That's like one of, I mean, I would make that just like for me as a treat in the afternoon because that's like probably one of like my top 5 favorite combinations. I love the flavor of banana and peanut butter together. And so that's like a great snack for me and the kids. More me.
And the kids can actually slice bananas. I wanted to show, there's so many knives right now on the market. I remember when we opened Bambino Shop, it was really hard to find manufacturers that were producing kid-friendly knives. But these days there's so many. One of them, and this is not an ad, obviously, I like the ones from Curious Chef, where they are very safe. They come in different sizes. And again, it's not an ad, but I feel comfortable with the kids working with these knives. Even at Bambino Shop, this is the knife that we will use.
I'm so happy you brought that up. I was going to ask you that actually, because I know that some moms, as we're talking about like getting our kids more involved and maybe like taking the pressure off a little bit, maybe if you have a child old enough to kind of give a job to for dinner prep, you want to make sure it's safe. So you said it's Curious Chef?
It's Curious Chef, correct. But again, there's so many, if you Google, there's so many different manufacturers these days. So it's not hard to find a good knife that is safe this
And what age would you recommend that to start, Renee?
So this one at Bambino Chef, for example, our cooking classes in person, they start 2.5 and we really concentrate on the sensory part. With the guidance from adult, the small size, it's perfectly fine for little ones. They are, again, adults, grown-ups should be monitoring, but slightly older children, they are perfectly fine doing it on their own. And to be honest, one of the things I find very often recently that I see a lot of young kids who we will give them this knives and they will say, "Oh, Chef Renee, Bambino chef, I use a sharp knife at home." Like, oh my goodness, impressive! But we're going to start with this.
Right.
I do see a lot of children that come cook with us. They do use sharp knives at home, and it seems like they do participate. Which again, it's not easy. Having kids in the kitchen, I just want to throw it out there. It's not easy. I have so many friends, mom friends, dad friends, who have said, you know, I just don't have. I cook myself because having my child in the kitchen with me during dinner prep will just double, triple my work.
I am there many a day. I have to be in the right mindset to kind of do that, especially with more than one child. I mean, it was a little different for me when Ashton was too young to get involved, my middle. But now, like, you know, if they all want to be kind of right in the mix, it can be a lot. So yes, we have to pick and choose and make things easy for us. So yes, you should mention.
So whenever works. Again, it's all about, and I love this lives because we are being transparent about our experiences, and I just want to say, it's just because I'm a chef and I cook with children for a living, doesn't mean that my kids are always in the kitchen and they're eating vegetables. Absolutely not. Just keeping it very real. It's not easy.
Yes, absolutely. Nicole said she bought a nylon knife for her son to start cutting bananas in occupational therapy. So yeah, it can be really good for a variety of things for kids to kind of practice with that.
Right.
Just want to make sure that everyone knows, feel free to share in the comments if you have any tips and tricks of your own, as we've been talking about, anything that sort of makes your meal or snack time easier, or any questions you have for Renee or myself. I'm happy to help if I can, about things, certain struggles related to meal and snack time, because another mom in the comments might have an idea, Renee might have an idea, I might have. So please share, because we're here to help each other, and that's what this is for. And I want to make sure, if you're just coming into the chat, to let you know, please share with us.
Sounds good. The other thing I love the fact that you said we all can learn from each other. I have learned so much from my mom friends, the little tricks. It's, we don't get the handbook, so we always
we wish, right?
Yeah, but we'll always learn from other people's experiences. And just a little bit of personal story, and I will wrap it up. I promise. As a child, I wasn't really good with math and cooking, and I've been cooking since I was a little kid. And cooking was that place where counting and numbers, all of a sudden, it became a happy place for me, and I started learning. So that's why when we cook with other children or my own, I really involve numbers or counting patterns, things like that. So which is why, and I know you make this a lot, simple parfaits that kids can prep themselves are just it's a wonderful activity. You're creating a pattern, you're counting, and it's a nice healthy treat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we love yogurt parfait. Like, my boys get so excited when we do yogurt parfaits for breakfast. And again, I brought this up before about the trail mix, but I just stick to things that I can switch up all the time, because if I don't get to, if it's late in the week and I haven't gotten to the store yet or whatever, I have sort of my pantry staples I always have on hand: chia, flaxseed. I usually try to have some kind of granola, but sometimes I don't. And so, I'll put in Cheerios sometimes, even for a little yogurt. But I use what works, what I have on hand and what works. But that is so fun to do with the kids. And they get it's just yogurt and a little fruit, and then something crunchy is essentially all you need for a parfait.
Yes. And like you said, they get to pick also ingredients they enjoy. You can give them the option, so they can pick and experiment, which is always fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nicole said a crock pot is staple in our cooking. Same over here, especially in the winter months. It's I try to do a crock pot dish once a week. And, it just makes it so much easier come mealtime to have at least maybe it's just the protein done or something like that, but have one part of it kind of done in the crock pot is definitely a go-to for me too.
I agree. That's a great point, Nicole. Absolutely. Same here.
Awesome. So we are going to be mindful of time tonight. I know a lot of people want to watch the debate and mindful of your time, Renee. I want to make sure to let everybody know if you have any questions or things to share for tips and tricks of your own, please share with us in the comments because we'd love to hear. And while I wait for some of those, Renee, any sort of other like general tips or kind of go-to tricks that you like to use to kind of mix things up or stretch things or any of the things you talked about?
Sure. So freezer meals, I know you're really big on those as well.
Yeah.
Those are really popular. What I do, I will make a big batch of grains and I will freeze it. Different types of farro. Again, I'll use brown rice. Anything millet is really popular in our household. So I will make big batches of those and I will freeze them. And they make my life so easy on a busy weekday. I'll just take it out and usually I will have some sort of, even if I don't have fresh produce, I will have frozen vegetables. So I'll add them, mix them together, season beautifully. I'm really into spices and herbs here.
Oh, yeah.
Most of us are. So I will sometimes experiment, like you said. Nothing awful will happen. Sometimes it's not the best dish, but I like to play around with my food. That's one of the reasons why I got in the field. But having frozen food, like partially part of your meals, makes a humongous difference in your taste. And also anything for kids before we go. Anything with the dough, I always suggest. I know it's hard to make time, but because our kids are on screens a lot, anything that they will use their hand muscles, I think, and it's so sensory and therapeutic. So anything with the dough, there are many simple recipes that would be fun for kids.
Yeah, that's a good point. I never thought of that, but that is really soothing. So for those virtual learning breaks, if you have a day where you're just like, everybody's ready to pull their hair out, maybe that for a little after school break. Christine said, I love buying chicken sausages since I do keto and I use sugar-free syrup to dip in. Easy peasy breakfast. I am also a huge fan of the frozen chicken sausages for like in our breakfast rotation because there's some that I don't think are as good, but there are some that are delicious and I think even better than some of the fresh ones out there. Like they're Applegate Farm, again, not an ad, but I love Applegate Farms frozen chicken sausage. It's so flavorful and good, and it takes like no time at all to heat up. That's like huge on our rotation. I am with you, Christine.
Me too. And like as Christine just mentioned and brought me this, reminded me. One of the things I like to buy this pre-made falafel bowls. And they are again, they're affordable, budget friendly, and I believe they're organic. But again, I'm not pressing the whole organic thing. We're doing the best we can. This is the times. But I buy those, and that makes a really quick, easy dish for us. We just
I love that.
Bake them in the oven in about 12 minutes or so, and that's it. I add this little bit of spinach leaves. I'll add some, if I have rice, I'll add some rice in there. So I make my little bowl depending what I have on hand. Again, I'm not going crazy trying to create this new meals. It's not a Thanksgiving dinner.
Right. Real quick, might just be kind of fun. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Give me like your top 5 pantry staples that you like always have on hand. It could be freezer too. Let's go with that. Freezer, pantry, things that you like always have on hand in a pinch for to throw together a quick meal.
Okay, so I always have frozen spinach, frozen kale. I always have green peas, chickpea. Green peas I usually have frozen. Chickpeas, I have them canned because it takes too long sometimes to cook them. And I like also Applegate sausages. I will have them.
Okay.
So how many did I give you?
That was 5, but you can keep going if you have more.
Oh gosh, I love food. I'm just going to go and go and go. But again, I am trying to keep it, once again, simple but nutritious. And I want my family to be happy. I want to feed them meals, not force them to eat things because they're good for them, but have them enjoy, especially during these times. Food can be very comforting. Food is, again, it's simply magic. So I want them to enjoy their meal.
I think that that's such a good perspective shift because I think that right now, especially, it can get stressful to feel like every week, it's like, okay, a whole new week of meal planning and, and to kind of just have that perspective of that our food is giving not only our kids comfort, but us comfort. And so if we can sort of embrace that where we can, keep things simple on ourselves, but also enjoy, the good meals that we're able to have and prepare together. I think that's like a really good thing to remember, especially as we start, getting into really the swing of the full school year and all of that. We're getting busy. I love it. Okay, one last thing. Any meal, like if you could give one piece of like meal planning advice for people to kind of make meal planning a little easier, any tips or tricks that you do for that?
Sure. I know I mentioned this, but I'm going to repeat myself. So I
No,
really
please.
greens. We're green kind of people. Well, we're not very picky. I'm not very picky, but having greens cooked ahead of time, frozen, it's a game changer for myself. It makes my life so much easier. And again, what I do, I use a variety of different grains. So these days, thankfully, you can find lots of those grains in ShopRite. What used to be exotic now, it is affordable. It's there. So I like freezing those meals. I love for meal planning. And I know everyone says this, but planning ahead of time, having a list of dishes makes a huge difference. I remember we went into lockdown during pandemic. We actually sat with my family, we sat down and made a menu of things we were going to make. And the goal was to keep it simple, not too many ingredients, because it was difficult to get the product and the food delivered or going to
right.
So we were trying to make it work. So making the list is essential, knowing what you're making. I feel like, and I'm not going to say I'm not that perfect citizen that I always have the list. Absolutely not. It's a hot mess sometimes around here.
Everyone has many a takeout night. I mean, let's not kid anybody. We're all doing the best we can, right?
But I feel like if I'm not mentally prepared on what I'm going to make for dinner, if I know ahead of time and I decide experiment, it's just not the same. I put too much pressure on myself, and then I find, I don't have this ingredient, I don't have that, I'm missing cheese, let me run to supermarket. So having a list of things you're going to make is very important. And my other thing is very often, and again, we are blessed to be able to have our fridge filled with food, but I like to check the fridge and see what I have. Very often I just scan my fridge and see to make sure nothing is expiring. And whatever's expiring, first in, first out, I use those ones just to make sure nothing gets wasted.
I totally agree. Now, one question on your grains, just because I wanna use this trick. You cook them ahead of time, and then how do you typically freeze them so that they defrost quickly, and like, what's your process for that?
Yes. So I will cook a nice big pan of my grains, and then I use them, I freeze them, I let them cool, and then I portion them in Ziploc bags. By now I know how much we're going to use as a family.
Right.
So I portion them in Ziploc. Once they cooled off, then I portion them and I add them in Ziploc bags, sealed tightly. And just as a matter of habit, I like to put dates on the bag just to make sure everything is there. We have to make sure everything is cooled off prior to putting everything in the freezer. I place it in the freezer, and my rule of thumb, which honestly we don't go longer than that, not to keep it more than 1 month, 4 weeks or so. I use it before that time, to be honest. We don't go too long without our grains in the freezer. And not all dishes I make have grains, just for the record. But for those, and that's it. And again, depending on type of a grain, some take a little bit longer to cook, some take a little bit less. But overall, that's my strategy. I make one big pot of that.
Right.
Like recently, I made millet, which is absolutely wonderful. It's a very calming grain, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yes, in Australia, they use, if we have any Australian moms or dads online, apparently in Australia, millet is part of baby food because, and it's very calming. In the States, we use it primarily, we used to use it as bird food. However, these days you can find it next to your quinoa, which is a seed, but it goes as grain, next to your quinoa or rice. So it's a really great grain to use in your.
I'm gonna have to add that into the rotation. If you say it's calming, I am doing it.
Yes, please.
I love it. Awesome. Super helpful. My one tip, I'll leave our moms with this, and I know Renee, I think we've talked about this before. I like to, for meal planning, assign like a type of food to each day, which just like makes it a little easier week to week to kind of take the stress of like, what am I gonna make? So like, it could look like today, for example, I always do some kind of taco or Mexican inspired dish on Tuesdays. It's always Taco Tuesday. Tonight it was tostadas, but I switch it up week to week. Sometimes it's enchiladas, whatever, but that's Tuesday. Wednesdays, we always do a pasta dish. Thursday, we typically do something Asian inspired. Monday's kind of my wild card. It's either crock pot, if it's like a crazy week ahead, or maybe a chicken dish, that kind of thing. So you can do it however you want, Friday, takeout, whatever. But I have found that since I started doing that, it has just been just such a stress saver because it takes a lot of guesswork out of it, and you can kind of customize it week to week.
I love that. I'm coming to your house on Thursday. That's cuisine. I absolutely love that. Yes, it takes that guessing game, and you are ready, and you know what to expect. No surprises coming your way. I love that idea.
Yeah, and I totally agree with what you say. When I know what I'm making for dinner, the mood change in me, it's just like, it's so much easier and less stressful. So we'll leave our mamas with that.
I'm going to do that. I'm going to add a couple other things. You will usually do Taco Tuesdays, but not consistent. I'm going to be honest with that. We do Taco Tuesdays occasionally, but Fridays are usually pizza night. So
yes. That's another favorite in our house too, because we all need a break night, right?
Yes, we do.
Awesome. Oh, Renee, it was so good to have you with us. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your great advice and ideas. I'm definitely using some of those for my snacks and meals this week. So really appreciate you, Mama.
I really appreciate all moms joining tonight's conversation. I appreciate you, Marisa. Love this platform. I know I've learned so much from this NJ Mom Lives, and I actually met some incredible mamas, but all mamas are incredible. I've met so far. So
that is so great to hear. I'm so happy to hear that. It warms my heart. That's exactly why we do these. So that's very validating. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
All right, have a great night. We'll talk soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. Oh my gosh, I'm so inspired now to get creative with snacks for the rest of the week and some easy ideas for meals too. So yay, thank you, Renee, with your Bambino Chef. That was awesome. If you guys have an idea for a guest or a topic that you'd like to see covered, please let us know. You can let us know here in the comments. You can send us a message here on Instagram. Love to kind of know what you guys are thinking and struggling with and wanting to talk about. So please be vocal about it and keep us posted on what you want to hear. Also, we have a weekly poll up on the site, and we so appreciate the feedback we've been getting. We've got some great feedback leading up to this live chat tonight with Renee, just some of the things that moms were struggling with. So it always gives us a good idea on what you guys are feeling week to week. So that is weekly updated on the site. Please take our weekly poll if you have the time, and we so greatly appreciate it if you do. It's one question, by the way, too. So thank you so much for being here tonight. Hope you guys got some good ideas for your family meals and snacks, and hope it leaves you a little recharged to tackle the rest of this week with the kiddos at home. So thank you so much, mamas, for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye.